Hey y'all, I'm driving. It's too dark out. I think it's September 20th or 19th. Friday the 19th. I got my head on because I'm cold, but I can turn the heat on, I guess. I just realized I don't have my directions up because I have the camera app up. Maybe that was my turn. I'll figure it out. I'm not working. I'm just heading from our dinner spot to our bed spot. These headlights are so bright. I guess I can't flip the camera while I'm recording. I'm like, you know how the newer headlights are now. This rental car has those. And it's like, it's interesting to be in a car that has them, because it's like, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, the brights, no difference. And it's like it goes a little bit higher. Like, I guess they're technically called high beams, and it goes a little bit higher. But it's like, you basically have the extreme brightness, and then when you turn on high beams, you get a little bit of dim light that's a little bit higher. But the regular beams are just like brighter than the old brights. And then the funny thing is, right now I'm on parking light. You know, like in a normal car, that's just like the little yellow rectangular lights on the four corners. Just, I don't know what the purpose of those, I guess, is to let someone know you're just parked somewhere temporarily, that you're in the car maybe or something. But it's like, boy, that motorcycle cut it close. It was like, I thought for a second I might have ran the light. He just like, but it was green. So the parking lights are like more like normal headlights. They're still pretty bad though. That's the weird thing to me. It's like, parking lights, historically, at least in my lifetime, have never been lights to see by. Hardly. You know, maybe a little bit, but not much to speak of. Just those yellow rectangles. The parking lights on here are just like the dimmed version of the lights from hell, and they're pretty bright. So I'm going around driving with parking lights. And then if no one's near me, you know, in front of me, coming at me, or even on the same path as me, I can turn on normal headlights. And you can see good, but everybody else is getting blinded. So, let's see, we went to the college, we worked on our stuff. Nikki's working on, I think she was working on putting photos on Redbubble and or Shutterstock, because like, we have like a ton of photos and video from the last year that we just have not done anything with. And so she's going through those, and all morning she's like, oh my gosh, these are amazing, I can't believe it. Like, it's just kind of shocking when you look over all the stuff we've seen, all the beauty and places we've been. It's just awesome. But I was kind of working on my writing on that, on time, goals, time, and scheduling. I guess I'm titling it for now. kind of interesting, like thinking about like the concept of scheduling your goals, scheduling your roles. This is a Stephen Covey thing. Scheduling, and it occurred to me, it's like if you want to be like Christ and treat people like he did, you want to be loving the way he was, and you want to. It's like, in a way, you're kind of scheduling love. And yeah, that's like that song from Rent, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? How about love? Moments of love, or something like that. I've never even sat and listened to the whole thing, but it's funny because that song addressed that. Oh man, I don't know where I'm at. I think I gotta turn. There's construction. So that song really kind of addressed some of all this stuff I was talking about, the fungible Newtonian time, the epochal time, and then that idea that occurred to me, like love. It's like as soon as I thought that, I was like, oh, that song talks about that. I don't know hardly anything about that play or that song or anything. So it's like kind of interesting. But it's been an interesting journey. I feel like I've kind of jumped down into a river, like the river of time, not like time maybe as we think of it, but like outside of time maybe, and like I'm kind of just been whirling around in the current and eddies and rapids, and I'm just kind of like, it's like something is more guiding my mind than I am guiding it. It's kind of how it feels. Like I'm just kind of an observer almost, and seeing what I see. And like all my blogging and writing before was very, get it out today. I'm directing what I'm going to write about. And I had little glimmers of ideas throughout there, but this is more like just pure revelatory stuff, and like waiting in between revelations. And I had the thought, or the thought came to me from wherever, like, and I may be repeating things over these days. I apologize if I am, but it's hard for me to remember what I've said when, and when I've written what I've written, and verses said and all that. But oh, I need to fill my water while I'm over here. Eternal life. Like in Catholicism, at least traditional Catholicism, and maybe modern too, and in Orthodoxy, the idea of salvation is it's not transactional. Like in Protestantism, it's kind of like, boom, you're saved at this point because you accepted Jesus. And I can understand there's some evidence for that, but there's also evidence that that's not really how it works. And so the Catholics and the Orthodox, they kind of talk about it as being saved, or being in the final day, like you're on this journey. So to me, it's like you get in this, you step onto the path, or maybe like river of eternal life, of Christ's footsteps, of love. And to me, it's like, what if it's like, I'm thinking, when you take on eternal life, oh, am I like leaning out? You're kind of, well, and I've always kind of thought, ever since studying Catholicism, where it's like, your eternal life starts now. And I've said that before. But it's like, the other thing that occurred to me is like, it's like you're existing outside of time when you follow that path. You're living both here in the moment, but also outside of time, because everything you're doing is impacting your eternal experience, I believe. And And I think arguably you could say it impacts the past as well, because it can heal traumas from the past if you're trying to be like Christ or doing good, in general. And you're also, especially in those traditions of Catholicism, Orthodoxy, is you're venerating those that have gone before us and the traditions from before. So it's like boom, you're just outside of time. You're affecting future and past, and and you think about it as a Christian, it's kind of like, to me at least, it seems like the ends no longer justify the means. In fact, the means are the point. If you're going to live a moral life or a Christ-like life, it's kind of like, to me it seems that it's like you've got to start making the means your priority. You got to have values that you follow regardless of what the price is. And so, like, you're no longer, like, for example, I got to get this water, working to get money. You're working to spread the love of Christ to people that you encounter. And not that you got to do a good job. If someone's paying you, you got to do what you're getting paid to do. But it's like, ultimately, you've got to do it the right way, the way Jesus would do it. Hold on, this is gonna be tricky. I'm gonna set the phone down. Water really shoots out there. Oh no, I don't know where I put it. Oh no, I put it on the ground. In the mud. I squashed it into the mud. I really don't think I should reuse that. Well, kind of a problem there. I left I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was doing too many things at once. I dropped the lid of the gallon container in the mud. Well, we'll see what we can do there. I'll just hold on to it for now. But, like, you're living a different life. It's like, and that's kind of the whole point of Christianity, it seems to me, is like I know C.S. Lewis talks about it, like new men. And the Bible, of course, talks about that being a new creation in Christ. And that's kind of like rings true with that. It's like, if you're existing outside of time, like Jesus says, don't worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear. Hey, by the way, you're going to get persecuted and suffer if you follow me. It's like, but take heart. In this world you'll have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. Ow, I went the wrong way. I'm not a great multitasker. Somebody's getting up on my tail here. Oh, the directions like pop up in text. That's so nice. Thank you, Google Map app. I think this is okay. Well, this will probably get me there quicker than the other I would have. But be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. It's like, when you really believe that, like, and it changes your behavior. It's like, when you really fully come to grips with that, it's like you are going to live different. You're going to live, for the most part, I'm not to say you're going to do everything perfect, but you definitely may begin to live different. And it's like you're living for eternal things outside of time. You're not willing to do whatever it takes to get the next paycheck or payday, because you're not an animal anymore, essentially, that's going to do anything it can to get food, clothing, shelter. Those things are no longer your priority. That's a huge difference. Because in my experience, most people are just scratching and clawing their way to and biting to keep getting that paycheck or get that contract or whatever. And I'm not saying competitiveness is bad, but I've seen so much cheating and unethical things in the workplace, and it's arguably just because these people want to keep their money coming in. We were just talking about that today. People that stay with their spouses because for the money or the house or whatever, or the extra things that the both incomes can bring. It's that is so sad. We're living in a 20-year-old van that people walk by and look at with disgust, and delivering fast food for a living and working on what we believe God's called us to do. It's it's not worth it. People will hang on. They'll just do whatever to get money and to get so they can keep all these things. What is it Dave Ramsey says? Something like trying to get enough money to buy things, or do a job you hate to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. It's something like that. It's that is true, man. It's sad. People will just sell their souls, basically. But here, and getting pretty good gas, I think. So I was thinking about all that stuff, and wow, I'm in front of a big sign. I'm assuming you can see that. But so these are these thoughts that are bouncing around in my head. I was doing the Tony Robbins priming exercise this morning. Oh, my hat can go right on the headrest. That's cool. I'm gonna do that. My head's big. It's as big as a headrest. It's a thing. It's a practice that has got scientific evidence behind it being effective at putting you in a good state. And people that went to his seminar and did this priming practice after, every day after, were the vast majority were basically cured of depression. And this is a study that was done on this stuff. So anyway, in this priming thing, you're visualizing all these things that you start with this breathing thing, and you're doing this, and then it's then you think of three things, a minute a piece maybe, that in the past you can feel extremely grateful for, and then you do the slow, really deep cleansing breaths and exhales, and you're visualizing light, cleansing you and strengthening you, and then you're sending it out to people you love. It's like prayer. That's my daily prayer for people, and I fill y'all with light and happiness and health and strength. And then you think of, and then he teaches through, he's think of things you in the past that you could feel proud of. Think of things that were exciting. Think of things that were, I think he says sensual too, or something, which I'm kind of like, huh? But he is like, think of things. Oh, before that, he's like, think of 3 things you're gonna do in the next few weeks or months or whatever that you're gonna accomplish, in a picture that you've already accomplished them, and how great that feels and how much it helps other people. And I like to picture that, but also picture obstacles and overcoming the obstacles and actually connecting that goal to the day's work and feeling the success of achievement through the day's work, through, you know, doing what I'm doing now. And then he's like, what are you proud of? What are you know, what were you excited about? What are you going to be proud of? What are you going to be excited about? And then he's like, at the end, he's like, okay, now put them all together. All the things that, you know, that you visualize, that you're grateful for, and that the people you pray for, and the things you're going to accomplish, and all these things you're excited. And he's like, feel them all at once, is what he says. And it's quite intense and shockingly powerful thing. And at the end, he says, like, this is the way you feel now this is the real you. He says, this is the real you. This is you unleashed. And I think that's so true. It's like, you almost get the sense that that's what you would be like in the afterlife. It's like just pure positive energy and gratefulness and joy and love. So, you know, and part of it was like, I just kind of picture myself doing these things that I would love to do, and just having like this, you know, shout of victory. And it reminded me of that Walt Whitman poem, I sound my barbaric yawp, you know, from the Dead Poets Society. That's where I first heard it. But maybe it just brought that to my mind. It's like, maybe that's something like what he was talking about. Because there was something specifically to that image that made it more real. Like and Tony Robbins talks about like how we all have these different parts, and like your inner warrior is one of them. And he says you should picture the color of the warrior and where it is, where you feel it, and then make it the sound it would make, you know. And of course a warrior is like a kind of a barbaric yawp, and these things are very effective, and a lot of it is just the state change through posture, like, which has been proven in studies, like doing this or just standing with your hands on your hip, you know, for 2 minutes or whatever. These actually can very effectively change your state. So, but it made me think of like the like a barbaric yawp of love and gratefulness and excitement. It's like, maybe that's kind of the key to you know, living a life that is empowered to do good. Part of it, at least. So these are all ideas bouncing in my head, around my head. But let's see what else. I ran today. My watch earlier today, I could have sworn said I was 92% acclimated to the altitude, but then tonight it said 89. Like, did my run send me backwards? I don't know. But I kept my run short and easy. So, because my heart rate variability keeps going down at night, and which means I'm under strain, and the altitude, I'm not acclimated yet. I don't know if I'll ever get acclimated. We're gonna leave here next Tuesday, so I don't know. It's interesting to see how long it's taken. it will have taken, by the time we leave, about 2 weeks, roughly. So, or almost 2 weeks. So it's not that easy to acclimate. Maybe it's because of my age or something. But it's interesting to see those measurements, because it's like, okay, I got, I guess you can wear the oximeter, but I don't know that that's always. Of course, that can tell you if you're definitely not acclimated. That's probably worth checking. I haven't really been doing that. Maybe I should, but anyway. Oh, another topic I wanted to touch on that crossed my mind was like, well, I want to be careful how I say it, but it has to do with, like, I guess the word masculinity. It's like, what is that? I mean, like, I was listening to this podcast, and I guess I won't name it, I guess. Oh, I'm red there. The light is red. But, he was, like, interviewing us, a psychological counselor, therapist, or whatever you call it. And I think the title of the episode was something like, "Is therapy toxic?" And he's talking about, like, you got all these men that are overly emotional and crying all the time, and that's not good. And I don't honestly even know what he's talking about. It's like, where are you meeting these men? I see no men doing that. I don't do that. What I see is men that feel like they can't share their feelings in culture, that feel like there's not a lot of resources for them for that, as much as women have, and not a lot of support. And so I don't know what the guy was talking about. I'm kind of like, I don't think there's a big problem with that. I don't know that you need to be making up this fake enemy of overly emotional men. It's like, are you talking about trans men, or I don't know. And another thing he was talking about, I think it was in a different episode. He's like, as a husband, he's like, I need to be strong for my wife. I can't remember his exact words. It's like, yes, be strong for your wife. But it was like something like, he basically didn't want to share any of his concerns or his worries or troubles with his wife. He didn't want to do that. He thought that was, it's a paraphrase for sure, but since I'm not even saying who this is, I don't know that it matters. But he was basically saying that a husband shouldn't, in his opinion, share any of his concerns with his wife, because his wife doesn't need that burden, but that she can share hers. And it's like, to me, I mean, honestly, to me, it sounds like he wants his wife to be like his child. He wants it to be like he's the parental figure, and she's the weak, dependent person. And it's like, it's such bullshit. It's so fake. It's like, and I understand the idea of a husband being a head of the home and stuff, but it's like, why are there so much mental health and suicide problems with men and like around my age? It's like, and this isn't a cry for help for me. I'm actually quite happy right now, but I just couldn't believe he was going there. I'm like, I don't think this is, I think it's bullshit. Like, you think you're the man, you're the boss, you don't have any problems, you can just handle all your problems. Well, and he was saying, well, guys need guy friends so they can share their problems to their friends and not their wife. It's like, that's also bullshit. It's like, I've not known any guys, at least in my generation or before, that do that. It's just like, suck it up, pussy, or deal with it, just get tough. I don't think he's knows what the hell he's talking about, or he's in some weird world of his own, small weird world. It's like, it's fake. The whole thing of guys being confident is fake. It's lies. I believe probably most guys feel confident, but it's not based in reality. It's based on testosterone. I think testosterone does make people feel more confident. Men, I should say. But it's like, I think it's not rooted in anything factual. But the funny thing is women, heterosexual women, respond, I think, to confidence probably more than anything. And it's weird because in my experience, it is meaningless. Confidence is meaningless. Most of the time. And the guys that really know, the guys, I guess I'll say, that really know what they're doing, that are really experts or whatever in a field, they don't go around acting like they're confident in it. They know what they know, and they know what they don't know, and they know that there's more than they'll probably ever know in the field. It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is basically like, I think it's like like this is y-axis is what you think you know about a topic or a job, something like that, or an endeavor, and this is like time on the x. And I think it goes like, it's like something like at the beginning, oh, you think you know, like you shoot up quick at the beginning and think you know a lot, and then after a certain point you realize, oh no, you don't know anything, and then you kind of more slowly increase, but you probably never get back to there. Because confidence is that first rise when you're a newbie, when you're totally new at something. I don't know that I can say I guess I may probably, they say that most people experience that in new pursuits, but it's like, that's what confidence is. It's kind of like that. I think it's mostly testosterone based, which is just no facts, nothing. It's just hormones. But a lot of it's like that, and it's a real flaw in the biology that where we're at in our biology, I think. So that's something I've been kind of thinking about. It's that since listening to these podcasts, it just kind of keeps my mind engaged while I'm door dashing. So the way I like those long form kind of interview conversational podcasts. So I need to find a different one because this one's aggravating me. The guy seems so full of crap. But like, that topic is interesting, I think, because I think unfortunately a lot of women get into trouble with guys, into bad relationships, because guys are attracted to looks, and women are attracted to confidence, and looks, of course, probably more even looks than confidence, but it's both are weaknesses, because looks has nothing to do with character, confidence has nothing to do with character, and character is really what you need. Conscientiousness and character, which I think are kind of the same thing-ish. And so a lot of people end up in kind of a hell of their own making because of that. So it's worth talking about. But it's interesting, and the confidence thing. These people really believe that they're have reason to be confident, or they'll take like a shred of evidence or something, be like, "Yeah, look what I did," and it's like, even if they know they earned it by dishonest gains or means or something, I should say, or I don't know. Or maybe there is sometimes basis for confidence, but it's like, it has nothing to do with character. It maybe has to do with being Machiavellian or pragmatic. It's like, well, I set out to do this and I accomplished it and this and more. It's like, okay, are you a good person? Are you like Christ? I'm not saying I am. I'm not. But I don't also go around thinking I'm awesome or that I've accomplished stuff. And it's like, it seems like such a useless, counterproductive characteristic, confidence, if you're trying to live a moral life. Confidence in self just seems to go against that, because you should be questioning yourself and constantly trying to be better. I don't get it. But people are, it's very prevalent and important to a lot of people. And I think in general, I think people, like, if you're like handing off your car to a mechanic and they seem confident, I think most people are like, feel put at ease. But the problem is there's no evidence. It's just the person seemed confident. I remember in flood insurance underwriting, I knew the product. At least I could execute an underwriting, the most difficult underwriting better than just about anybody that I knew there, or at all in the industry. And people still wanted to deal with the person that was like, oh yes, definitely we can take care of this. Yes, definitely we can do that. But it was all lies. People want to believe lies. And when they'd come to me, it's like, well, no, there's a lot of unknowns here. I don't know what this, I have to look at this, we have to look at that. We don't know. And then they lose confidence. They're like, oh no, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. It's like, no, if you're being honest, if people are being honest, you don't know the answers to most questions in life. And so it's almost like maybe it's a desire to believe a lie. Like, okay, I don't have to stress. You seem confident. You say you have it figured out, so I can be lazy. I don't have to take responsibility. You can, because you've said you know how to do it. Maybe that's what the appeal of confidence is. But it's lies. It's almost always lies. It just is. I mean, it just is. You can't convince me otherwise. But people just willfully blind, I guess. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I probably am prone to that in ways, but it's like this last mechanic we went to. I didn't trust him. I don't trust any of these people anymore. But they ended up doing a thorough assessment. Like, they sent us photos of everything they did. It wasn't like we'd go someplace and be like, hey, we're going to be on the road a long time. Can you check it out? Make sure it looks good. As you get back, it's like, yeah, I didn't see anything. And it's like, we have this saying, or I guess I do. It's like, it's not what you hear, it's what you don't hear that tells you more than anything about a person. It's like, yep, it looked, we didn't see any problems. It's like, you're not giving me like a checklist here. You're not giving me a breakdown of what did you look at? How did you look at it? What'd you do to check it? You know, like these people had a detailed report and photographs even of stuff when it was up on the lift. Like some of these places, like, did you even really put it on the lift and even look at anything? I don't know. I have no way of knowing. And so it's like, but they seemed confident. The other people didn't deal in confidence. The people that I liked in Fort Collins, I think it was Fort Collins, Colorado, they just dealt in facts. And that, it's like, that is the evidence. You know, and, or even if someone says, you know, based on my experience, you know, I got this much experience and whatnot and training, this is what it seems like to me. You know, even that kind of explanation, it's like more details, you know, and some kind of explanation. But anytime anyone's like, yeah, we're trying to take care of it. Oh yeah, it's like, you're a liar. 99% sure. And that's what I think a lot of masculinity gets turned into is this fake, this lie-based, hormone-based confidence. And then people are like, okay, I don't have to worry. I can trust that you're going to take care of everything. And that's lazy. That's not good. We all have to be strong and vigilant and conscientious and nurturing. And this kind of leads me into the topic, I guess, since it was on masculinity, because I wanted to talk mostly about confidence and how it's fake, is virtue or God. Like, if God is described as having both masculine and feminine traits. God is not just is spirit. And most stuff I've read about from, you know, theologians and whatnot say that God is in the Christian and Jewish world is not male or female. I think the New Testament, I believe, even says there's no male or female in heaven. It's like we're spirit. It's like so virtue, or the being godlike, is being, in a sense, kind of androgynous. I know this is bad. I'm not like promoting the current culture, but I actually wrote a paper on this when I went back to school. This has been a long time ago now. And I think I titled it like virtue is androgynous. Or it's like, well, because everybody needs to be doing everything. It's so stupid to divide it completely. I'm not saying that, you know, the guy guiding the plow in the field should, you know, that should primarily be him or whatever, just because almost always the man has more physical capability. But both should be, there should be crossover. There should be plenty of crossover, because when the man is out hunting and the wolves come, the wife has to be able to get down to business and take out some wolves. Or if the wife is sick or dies, the man has to be able to nurture an infant sometimes. Or just be patient with small children. You know, it's like, or any number of, you know, scenarios you could imagine. So it's just interesting to me how these things are pervasive. And I think on the other side, the people that are like, yeah, everybody's, you know, can be whatever they want, and man and a woman is an arbitrary thing. I think what happened is that went so far that way that the people on the other side kind of jerked far the other way. So it's like an overreaction maybe on both sides or something. And so my topic is not about like people saying they're a sex that they're not. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm just talking more about characteristics, virtues. And I guess maybe that's what they call gender, is like which characteristics you present or whatever. But it's like, then they'd be like, well, you're non-binary if you could present both. It's like, no, that's just called being a good person. Is being able to take on the virtues that you need to take on when you need to take them on. That's just what everybody should do. That's being a good person. And it's pretty silly, in my opinion, to be like, I'm only a man. I only hammer stuff, and I only cook outside when I cook. And it's like, no, that is just so silly. You're a joke. It's laughable if you say these things, but it's so common. It's just a joke. I just can't understand. It's like, are people that insecure that they have to? I have to have the man clothes and the man grill, and I have to have I have to have the hugest truck. And it's like, you know how much you're wasting on gas, and you don't even. That's another topic. Trucks are useless, virtually useless. You could do just about the same everything that you do with a truck with a van, and the van is enclosed, and so it's more useful, a lot more useful. Yeah, if you're dumping gravel or dirt, some kind of stuff like that, maybe, but that's not what's usually happening. I think it's mostly a weird insecurity thing, because you can get the 350s in a van. There's heavy duty frame and suspension and engine, and for towing and all that stuff. And you can put ladders on top of these vans. With the truck, you got to like have it either sticking way out the bed, or have something on the back of the cab that it doesn't scratch up or if you don't care, I guess. It's just silly. It's just so weird to me, because from early on I knew, like, as I studied the Bible and tried to be a good Christian, I was raised in church, and decided, well, if this is true, it's probably the most important thing there is. It quickly became apparent that it wasn't about trying to fit into any kind of societal mold. It was about just trying to be like Christ. And not trying to be like who you see around you in the current culture. So anyway, maybe I'll write something on that again, like I did in college, and I don't know. I hope I didn't offend too many people unnecessarily. Probably hardly anybody who's going to watch this anyway. But it's just interesting. It's just weird to me. I don't get it. I think the main thing is we'd all be a lot better off if we were just like realized, like in the Catholic and the Anglican, the Orthodox faith, and their prayers and their masses, that in the beginning they talk about the general confession. You talk about, I haven't done what I should do, and I did what I shouldn't have done, and it's my fault, that even to the point of striking your breast. And I think we could use more of that. That's not confidence. We could use more of that driving down the road. We could use more of that when we're navigating our way through grocery stores. We could use more of that when we're just in any public place, or when we're interacting with our family, anybody. We're all sinners that need the grace of God. And if you don't believe it, may God have mercy on you, because you need to. We all are imperfect, and we need God to help us to help us get on that eternal path of being saved, of being redeemed. And I'm not saying I have it. I'm saying I understand I suck, and that I need help. It's like I heard the Protestant preacher Alistair Begg. He said the Christianity is like this: we're all homeless hobos or whatever, and one guy gets saved. He finds a dumpster or a stash of free food, and he's like, "Hey, everybody, I found free food. We're all saved," kind of thing. It's like that's the gospel, kind of. It's like I'm a homeless beggar. You're a homeless beggar, spiritually speaking. Look, if Jesus is the pile of food, I just happened to stumble on it. I wanted to let you know. It's like that's what it's like. And I'm not saying I haven't figured out or understand the gospel deeply. I've tried to over my life, and I still try, but I guess that's all I'm saying. This ended up going deeper than it meant it to be, but I guess the main thing I wanted to say was, like, to guys out there, it's like, don't be afraid to, like, you can't share your anxieties, especially with your wife. I mean, I don't know the inner workings of that in your life, but that's not intimacy if you can't be vulnerable. And so, and with find friends you can share it with, and of course with God, and you don't have to bear the burden alone. We all have weaknesses. A guy isn't perfectly strong, neither is a woman. We all need each other. So I'm going to cut it off because I think this is the longest one I've done. But thank you for watching, and I pray that God gives you a blessed night. Okay, thank you.